All right, what is a turning point? So, a turning point in history is a critical event that had significant immediate, so right away, and long-term impacts. So, normally, huge event does a lot of damage, has a lot of immediate things that happen right away, but also long term, over time, it caused a lot of changes. So, some examples, right? COVID-19 pandemic. Immediately, right? We all went into lockdown. People freaked out. A lot of people got sick initially. Long term, right? We had to wear masks. It's changed how we interact with people. It's changed how we interact with people who are sick. It has changed how we handle ourselves when we are sick. It has changed with technology, right? Right now, I am making videos for you guys because I'm at home sick. And you guys are going to watch the videos of me teaching. Prior to COVID-19, this would not have been a thing. But because of it, you guys have Chromebooks. Every single person in the building should have a Chromebook. You are able to access this information all on Canvas. That was not a thing prior to COVID, but a long term impact is now we have that, right? There was the bombing of Japan in World War II, right? Immediately killed lots of people. A lot of immediate damage. Long term, we're going to talk about this again later, but long term, right? There was radiation, caused a lot of social issues, a lot of long term impacts that they are still dealing with today, right? 9/11 is another example of this. Globalization. So, globalization is a vocab term that describes how the world has become more interconnected, or more kind of everyone is connected to someone else who's connected to someone else, connected to someone else because of trade and technology. Okay, everyone is somehow tied to someone else. Okay, this has three factors: economic, political, cultural, right? Economic has to do with money, right? We talked about what does economics mean the other day with our vocab. Money. Political has to do with government, has to do with how those government agencies interact with each other, right? We've talked a lot about culture, right? These are some words that are going to pop up all year. So you're going to hear them a lot. Get used to that part. But, right, those features that are specific to a society, those cultural factors do play a role, right? If countries have similar cultures, they're more likely to be more connected. If their cultures are super different, less likely to be as close or interact as much. So, changing over time, cultures, government, and economies will evolve or change over time for a lot of different reasons. Technological advancements and inventions, aka new technology, new inventions, new things being created, is going to cause those things to change. Environmental changes, right? We talked about that with geography yesterday. So, if things are changing in your environment, whether it is the physical features of the area around you, whether it's the weather, the climate, we're talking about climate change a little bit later in the year, things like that are going to change over time. And they're going to impact those turning points and important events. Interactions with other cultures and societies, how that looks is going to change over time. Okay. We are not stagnant. We talked about that yesterday, that you are constantly changing. Life is constantly changing. Those interactions are also constantly changing, because if we are changing, how that looks is going to show up differently all the time. So, I'm going to explain a little bit here what you are going to be doing. So, you have two sources, and they are going to be linked below in Canvas. You are going to analyze those two sources and answer the questions independently today. If you need to ask a neighbor for help, you can ask a neighbor for help, but this is independent. This will be your processing activity. I'm going to make a whole video explaining it more in depth. Go ahead and click the next video to watch that and learn what you need to do.